Hello, everyone, and welcome. Yeah, I'm doing. I think I'm gonna be doing more streams lately, especially to promote my own projects. Tonight, I'm going to be on Stone Loki. So, if you guys were unaware, mark your calendar, your time, whatever you got to do. It should be about 8 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I want to showcase a really cool individual. He's been on the channel a couple times before. We got Chad Townsend. Stop looking around. I'm talking about you, buddy. He's a very talented artist with a really cool project that's
Thanks.
it's going to be wrapping up soon over on Kickstarter. Um,
Right.
I I know a lot of us we're trying to branch out to Kickstarter. It's the bigger platform because Indiegogo has kind of been uh, not so great lately. I know they're going to be changing their policies or something soon. They said, but so far what we've seen, there's a lot of creators who have not fulfilled projects and it looks like they've kind of abandoned the comic book side of things on Indiegogo, which is kind of sad. But I think they said they're going to try to revamp it soon.
They hired actually a new guy at
Mhm.
Indiegogo for comics. He's been there 6 months now. So
Okay, he hasn't done much in 6 months.
no, but they're changing some things. I noticed they've booted some people that haven't fulfilled their campaigns. So
I can think of a couple that they should have booted, but I don't know why they haven't. I mean, when it's past five, I don't know. Call me crazy,
right.
but
So
anyway,
I do know they're changing. Like I had no idea that though when you went into in demand, you know how you paid like 4 or 5% out
Mhm.
to Indiegogo?
Yeah,
Well, it that number bumps up to 8% after it goes in demand.
yeah.
But I was told that that policy is going to change. They're going to just go straight across the board 4% now, and
Oh, that's good.
they're not going to charge anymore when you go in demand.
Oh, that's cool. That's good to hear.
Yep,
Yeah. What's Kickstarter's percentage? Do you remember?
I think it's like 4 or 5, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, because yeah, we're learning all this stuff for the first time too with the Kickstarter thing. But yeah,
You know,
we're gonna be showcasing some of this stuff. So
I'm not, and I don't like the back end of Kickstarter as much as I like Indiegogo, the way they have it set up through
yeah,
their campaigns. But
yeah, I'm gonna be learning that soon. Because I know like you could take a look at your backers, but you can't get any of their information yet.
right,
Um, I'm assuming that happens after they're charged, like after because the campaigns have to fulfill, and then I'm assuming this is how it's going to work. I don't know yet that they give
I
you the rest of the info.
can't remember off the top of my head. I do. I just remember it was difficult setting up some quantity numbers with, like, they don't have it set up where you can say I have this X amount of copies of a book.
Hmm.
But when you do add-ons here and there, it doesn't add or subtract from it, you know?
Okay.
It doesn't They don't have the math worked out in Kickstarter, whereas Indiegogo, I think you do. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you could
Yeah.
say, I have X amount of copies of this particular book. And then
Yeah.
when you do your bundles, it calculates into that X amount of copies. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
It'll like if anybody gets a bundle from A, B, or C,
Yeah.
and that book is in any of those bundles, it will subtract from the total number of copies of that book that you have. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed too. Right. They don't put the shipping until like they get charged or something.
Uh,
I don't think
Interesting.
that's calculated yet either.
Huh. I'll have to go
Like,
look at that.
I mean, I could be wrong on that. Again, I've briefly been looking. I've been juggling a lot of stuff lately, but yeah, I'm gonna take a better look later on. But
It.
yeah,
I think.
we'll see.
I. I think you should try it. I think everybody should try it just to see how it works. And
Hmm.
I didn't promote it super heavily this time, this
Yeah,
second chance, but I wanted to just dip my toes in and give it a shot. And
yeah, same deal. Because I'm working on a couple of projects, and I figured let me put this thing out too. Because I remastered a whole bunch of my work, and I added about 30 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a collected edition of volumes 1 and 2, with an extra 30 pages. So it's 140 pages. So
wow,
it's a big book. That's why like I thought people would be excited while that's going. I could work on more of the other projects, but this is turning into a full-time job. Just I got to start promoting the hell out of this thing since
yeah.
I only have I got like 30 days or so. Let me say a quick hello to the chat. We got Bad Take Bojan in the house. How you doing, Tina? Always good seeing you. We got Keely Chow. Yeah, he was popping in there. We had Dave Brinks from Genuine Comics. How you doing, man? Always good seeing you. But yeah, let's show some of this stuff too. First, I'll hit the people with my trailer.
Yeah,
because I typically do that, and the background music you're gonna hear, not the beginning part, but later on, it's gonna be that's CJP from Forgotten One Music, great dude, and I'm very happy that he was able to hook me up with that. All right, we'll do this one. We'll play mine, then we'll play yours. So
excellent.
Let's get this going. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Vinnieart. I'm the owner of Mela Art World. I'm also a former lead designer of McFarlane Toys, and I've been in the comic book industry and entertainment industry for about 20 to 25 years, designing figures, statues, doing storyboard artwork, and concept artwork. Done stuff, again, for Image Comics, Devil's Due, Blue Water Comics, a whole bunch of different indie comic books. But I also have my own projects that I've done, and they consist of pirate book Shadow of the Kraken. I have a post-apocalyptic future story called City of Venus, and a beautiful hardcover book called Through the Woods. It's 100 pages, and again, fulfilled during the height of COVID and lockdowns. I am a very trusted creator. I deliver my projects, and everyone's been asking me if I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter. So this is my first Kickstarter. This project, The Art of Vinnie, a work of art, is volumes 1 and 2 of my original art books, remastered, just absolutely gorgeous in the format that I'm presenting it in. 140 pages. An additional 30 pages of unpublished work is in this book. So I hope you guys will consider backing and supporting this project. If it does well, I'll release more campaigns over on Kickstarter. I have a number of new projects and things in the works. I hope you guys will consider supporting. Remember, you can find more of my work over on melaartworld.com and vinnieart.com. Thank you again. Yeah, and on this campaign, you get pretty much all my stuff except for Through the Woods, the hardcover book. That project, it's still going on over on Indiegogo. It's in demand over there, so if you guys are looking for it, you can definitely grab it. We'll break down my stuff a little bit, in a minute. Like I said, this is like the third day, I think, we're on this campaign. But yeah, Chad, his is actually going to be running up pretty soon. So yeah. Let me hold on.
It should be closing sometime tomorrow, probably late tomorrow. But
okay. Yeah, it says it's 52 hours to go.
There we go.
Let's open up yours. There we go. Yeah, because this project looks cool. I already seen it over on Indiegogo, and
right.
Yeah, I wanted to get it then, and then other stuff came up. I had a big move as well. So, but let's check this out because this does look really cool. And then yeah, we'll hit up some other stuff, letting people know who exactly you are. So
yeah, thank you.
Tennessee, cursed with a key, a black phantom haunting endlessly. With shadows cast, he walks alone through the darkness. His presence known. Black phantom. His soul so cold, silent whispers, stories untold in the night. He roams the streets, Black Phantom, fearsome and fleet.
Dude, that was pretty cool.
Thanks.
Um,
I was
yeah,
trying
man.
to trying to go for a Saturday morning cartoon kind of feel.
Yeah, no, dude, it's a good vibe to it. So who did that for you? Who did the music?
A friend of mine
All right,
who's
cool,
out in Burbank.
nice.
Yep.
Let everyone know about you and about the project itself.
Well, I've been working in video games and animation since the 90s. I started out as an assistant uh, inker to comic artists in the early 90s, got into video games in the mid 90s with the studio named Iguana. They're known for creating NBA Jam on the consoles and Turok
Cool.
Dinosaur Hunter and so at NFL Quarterback Club. And then around 2005, I got my first job in the animation industry working on the Invincible Iron Man animated movie. And
Cool.
yeah, my animation career kicked off from there around 2005. So I've worked on so many shows. I've got about 24, 25 shows and movies under my belt since then.
That's impressive.
Thanks.
Holy crap, man. Good
I
stuff.
have just as many video games too, like about 25 of them that I worked on.
Nice.
Last game I worked on was Epic Mickey 2 for Disney Interactive
Mm-hmm.
and a DuckTales game that never got made.
Oh man,
I know.
that was a fun series back in the day.
I was so heartbroken because I spent a year. I designed several hundred characters and concepts for this game. I spent like 9 months to a year with a game programmer and that, and we were developing it, and they shut our studio down, and I was just gutted because it felt like the one that got away, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the Black Phantom is a character I've had since I was a teenager. That he's a Walking Dead guy. Basically, he's got worms in his body, and he's kept alive through the skeleton key that hangs around his neck. So when he's separated from it, he's just a corpse. But if he loses limbs or whatever, he can slap them back on, and the worms like grow them back together.
I like that. This
first issue is a complete story, so you're not locked in to buy the next book if you don't like it. It's a story I wrote as a teenager about his mission to go find V2 rockets at this manufacturing plant in the castle and light the path for the bombers so they know where to drop the bombs and stuff. And I tried to draw it like 2 or 3 times throughout the years, and after nearly kicking the bucket with COVID in 21, I almost died.
Oh man,
I was in the hospital for 28 days. That's when I just said, why am I like trying to be so perfect with my comic? Why not just make them? Just do it and not worry so much about it and just have something done. So I finally finished this one book. Now I'm on the next Black Phantom book. Now I'm a quarter of the way finished.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, sometimes you just got to pull the trigger. I was kind of doing the same. I was doing a lot of different freelance jobs, and I was hitting the convention scene for a good number of years. And and in between projects, I would get some pages done of some of my stuff. And because I got like a whole universe that I built, and like most of my stuff, there are like connecting threads. I kind of put certain things in as Easter eggs, and later you're going to be able to see more of it. And some of it is just like our actual history. Like you go back into like the Roman times, the Greek times, so stuff like that. Well, I was doing something kind of similar with a few of my projects, but you'll see later on how they do connect, and in a bigger way too. So, but again, trying to write it as if like if you don't want this genre, you could stick with the one that you do enjoy that I have. So options for everyone, kind of thing. Yeah, and kind of having fun with it. What's up, Draven? Good seeing you, brother.
Yeah, I love history. That's so I am kind of incorporating it into my stories,
That's awesome. Yeah,
especially Black Phantom. Anyway,
yeah. No, that's cool. So, like, what are some of the adventures and stuff this character is going to be doing?
this next book I'm working on is about um, the Spear of Destiny that Pierce Christ has the power to build armies. So it's basically George S. Patton in real life. He asked Eisenhower after we won the war. He said, "Hey, Russia's going to be our next big enemy, so let's go move on and just take out Russia." And Eisenhower told him no and made him stand down. So in my book, he takes the Spear of Destiny and goes to attack Russia. So my so my character goes on his mission with his pals because he's going to have a lot of new friends in this, and try to take them down. So I incorporated a little. I'm not trying to get like really biblical with the history, but the spear is a biblical thing, I guess.
Yeah. But you want to have fun with these stories. I mean, I think Top Cow they did they had the spear kind of storyline too with Magdalena,
right?
With that character. Like, I mean, we've seen, a lot of books they dive into history or religion from time to time, but yeah, I could tell, like, you're not you're not a fanatical person, nothing. Like, it's an element, it's something that was
I actually went to Europe. I went to Vienna in December last year, and I saw the actual spear in person. So I've got pictures with it and everything. I was so excited to have that opportunity. And cool story element I'm gonna add to this next book too is I can't say his name right, so it sounds bad, but his name is Longinus. Longinus. I don't know how you say his name. He's the Roman that he's the Roman that pierced Christ with that spear. Well, there's a fable or a story that supposedly he is cursed as an immortal that is mauled every night by a lion by God. So as his punishment, right? Yeah. So in my story, he's going to be traveling around with a lion and he's going to help the Black Phantom. So, but he takes off every evening to go get mauled.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like it's a Prometheus with the chained to the rock, and you get like the eagle or the vulture that eats his liver or something every day.
That's terrible. But I think he in the tale, he's normal. Like he's not torn up afterward. Like he wakes up every day normal.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm going to have him look shredded, like scarred from head to toe.
That's going to look cool.
Yeah.
That's going to look really cool. Yeah, man, your art style is a lot of fun too. I like that.
And then Kid Squid is my other character that I wrote and drew. And it's got 3 origin stories in one.
Oh, wow.
And it's got it's based around the Cthulhu mythos, sort of. So it opens sideways, as you can see.
I'll believe it.
Yeah, it opens like this.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I was trying something different. So,
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and Todd did that with X-Force, the last one the Spider-Man.
Todd did it normal where you opened it like this, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got it.
Actually, I have that X-Force right here. Holy crap! I happen to have that X-Force right here. So, oops. Let's see if I can find it. So yeah, they did it where it was like that.
Oh, so they both did it. Yeah, it was Spider-Man. Those connected, right? It was that story and the Spider-Man and X-Force jumped in there. And I think X-Force, and then you had Spider-Man jump into
Yeah, mine opens like this to the side.
Yeah, to the side. That's still cool though. Did you make use of both? Like, do you have any splash pages that extend like that?
I haven't, but now I'm thinking if I do another one like this, I definitely want to try that out. See if I can get like a whole
page. That'd be cool.
It would be unique. because this is almost kind of like that.
Yeah, man, dude, that's beautiful looking too.
Thanks. I did
Very
it in duotone colors, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
I was very inspired by the Parker novels drawn by Darwin Cook, the graphic novels. Have you seen those?
In passing, I don't own any.
I have them somewhere. They used to be like right here by my desk. They're anyway. He did just two tones. He did black and a color for shading and stuff.
I like that.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I was
it's
really
cool to
inspired by
experiment.
So you with my campaign, you get both books for $25, and you get a standee and a sticker with it too. So you get both of these.
Oh, that's cool, man. I like that standee too.
Yeah, so it's double-sided and it's 6 inches tall like an action figure. So
I like it.
60 pages of comic and standee and a sticker. And this is the brightest glow-in-the-dark sticker I've ever seen in my life.
Where'd you get it made?
I got this one made with Vogue Grace. It's called, and they're out of Korea, I think. But but I saw somebody that made this stickers like this. This is the villain, by the way, in the Black Phantom. His name is Horntoad.
So, I like it, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, again, man, I dig the stuff you've been putting out here.
Thank you.
You know, and again, that your background is in animation and video game stuff. Like you could tell, there's a great energy to your work.
Thank you.
I remember, the first time you came on, we were talking a little bit about that stuff too.
Yep. I try to put that energy into the movement of my characters. I like the visual acting of characters when you're doing storytelling. So if I could get emotion out of their faces and their movements, that's fun.
We'll have to talk some influences in a minute too. Let me say a quick hello. We got Tommy and Guinea Pig Collective out there. We got Past Master Dan's in the house as well.
My hero.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Good folks out there. Yeah. Like I said, we got Draven came in as well. Bam. Oh, we got ETEP in the house too. Hail, brother. Good seeing you, man. Yeah. So like I said, man, I like getting back into more of the comic book related stuff too. My streams and stuff, like I've been hitting heavy on some political stuff here and there. We are the toy stuff because it's a lot of my background, but also because I'm a collector. It's something I've been doing for nearly 30 years.
Yep. I've been going to comic shops. I went to my first comic shop in 1981. And I was so lucky that I had one in the small town I grew up in.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. When did I go? I want to say maybe 85, 86 was probably the first time I went into one. I remember I was a little bit later, like I started getting into it more heavily. I had like a fever or flu or something. And a relative was visiting and took one of my brothers to the comic shop and bought a whole bunch of stuff.
Wow.
And she came over and she's like, yeah, I want to make you feel better. Here's some cool comic books and stuff. I was just like hooked at that point.
Yeah.
Like, beforehand, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, comics are cool, whatever. I started reading them and really jumping into it. And one of the first books that that influenced me in a big way. And it's funny, I was on Dan Fraga's channel years ago. No, I'm sorry, he came on mine. When I did one of the first interviews, because no one really knew who he was, and he came over on mine, and we were talking for I don't know, a couple hours, and we had a lot of fun. But I brought up this comic book, and he goes, "Wait a minute, you mean this one?" He had it next to him on the spinner rack. It was the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man with Captain America on the cover, holding his shield like up in the air, and Spidey was kind of crawling like down beside him, and it was that specific book.
That's the McFarlane cover, isn't it?
Yeah. Todd did the whole thing.
I bought all those off the rack in the shop when it came out.
Nice.
Every single McFarlane. I remember when the first McFarlane issues came out in Amazing Spider-Man, I'm like, who is this guy? This is really cool. And it just kept getting better and better every issue with that guy.
Because
And
there was so much great energy in there. And and his background. I mean, I would never thought I would have worked for him at one point. You know, it's like right out of high school, I ended up getting this job, and it was cool. It felt like a Mr. Rogers field trip, and then at one point, it goes wrong. Because it's just like, you know, the politics of the inner workings of those people that were in the studio.
I'm glad I only got to appreciate him from afar. I don't know him personally or anything, because I'm sure once you get to know people, you get to know all their faults and their positives. But
I've had mixed reactions with them, because on one hand, I respect so much of what he's done.
Hell yeah.
And then on the other hand, I see some of the things and I've seen a lot of the things that people don't know about. But at the same time, I'll give him this though. I ran into him more times after having worked for him than when I worked for him.
Oh, really?
We used to see him, like, we had like a very primitive webcam setup, because there was nothing like we have today when I was working there. And so like we'd have, like, you know, a meeting like every 2 weeks or so, and in the conference room, that's when we kind of like we'd all be there and break down some of the stuff that we have, and, you know, we kind of go through the process. But the company was way smaller than what it ended up becoming, and that's a lot of times that's how we would see him. But he wouldn't really how can I put this? It's not that he was being dismissive towards the other creators. It was just kind of like giving, like, oh, you work here, so okay, who's the guy who's working on that? Okay, could you do this? Could you do that? Blah 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 type of thing, right? But years later, when I did run into him, it was like at New York Comic Con, and we were crossing a street, and we backed into one another. Turned around, and the first thing he did, he spit out my name. The first thing that came out of his mouth, Vinny, how you been, man? And I'm like, oh, hey, Todd, hey, not bad, not, you know, like. And like I said, it's not easy, because I'm also a twin, and for him to know exactly who I was,
right,
out of the two, that was impressive.
That is.
And like I said, a couple of times when I ran into him at shows, it was always fine. Things were copacetic and all that. But he is an individual who is known for burning bridges. He's also someone that, like, okay, like if you don't work for me anymore, you left or whatever. Like, it's like, fuck, that's
there's a loyalty thing there.
Sort of. There is and there isn't. Like I said, it's really weird. You know how certain people, you catch them on a certain day, they'll act a different way. It's sort of like that. But I'll say one thing though, that Stan Lee really, he instilled a lot into Todd, especially how to treat fans. And that's the one thing I'll definitely give him. He is amazing with fans.
I agree. I've had 3 great encounters with Stan Lee in my life.
So, again, he's one of the ones similar to Todd. Todd met Stan when he was around 15 or 16. I met Stan around the same age, and he's the one who encouraged me to keep going where I was going, because I just had a sketchbook, you know, the spiral ring, nothing special. I just had my own crap in there, and he was doing something in Florida. They opened up like a little Marvel exhibit thing in one of these museums, and he did like a little, like an hour speech or something. It was right before the Spider-Man movie. Like they had just like signed the deal or whatever. Yeah, he was on the outs, and Marvel was falling apart, and that's what saved Marvel, were the movie deals. Right. So when I had met him and he's looking through my stuff, he's like, kid, you got it. This stuff is amazing. Don't stop. And he goes, but I'll tell you one thing right now, don't go to Marvel. I was like, huh? I always scratched my head. He goes, go to the other guys. Marvel might not be around, and if the movie doesn't do well, they'll fall apart. Right. Like he straight up told me. Yeah. And he goes, and sure enough, yeah, they even fell off the stock market and everything. It's the movie that saved their ass. Yeah. It was, you know, the Sony deal. That's why Sony won't let go of it. But it's a lot of things that people, they don't really know or realize. And then obviously later on with the whole Disney buying.
He was a huge influence on me when I was younger, trying to get into comics, by the simple fact that he used to always tell that story about how many portfolios he turned in all the time, and he collected rejection letters.
Oh, Todd, yeah.
He tells his rejection letter story.
Mhm.
That drove me. That and Michael Clutas, something Michael Clutas said, but those really influenced me in my drive to get work. Those stories, because Todd said, get rejected as many times as you can, like make that a game. And I did. Like anytime I was out of work early on in my career, it's like how many resumes can I turn in and portfolios, and how many rejections can I get, or nothing at all, you know what I mean? And then something happened though. I realized 1 out of every 10 I turned in, I would hear back, and then the odds went up. At least one of those, I was going to get a job out of it. You know what I mean? Like, so
that's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and it is that. It's keep pushing.
Don't give up.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, it was smart, but the thing is, like Todd, he got his big break because someone passed away. That's literally what got him his big break. There was an artist on one of the books, and a healthy guy. He drank like contaminated milk or something, and he got sick and passed away. He basically got poisoned.
Oh man,
awful, absolutely awful. But that's what got him his foot in the door, and from that point, it's just like he just kept pushing and up in his level. Because I know he has like a design background. That's like I think one of the degrees that he ended up getting. But again,
that helped him.
It helped him in a massive way, because even like when his anatomy wasn't right or things were off, he was able to pull something extra to his work.
Yep.
And that extra animated style that he had too, like, it benefited him.
Looking back at it, it's not that great. However, it's still a lot of the charm and appeal in it. I think what was appealing to us as kids is that it made us feel like we could do that. We could draw that, you know, the way he was doing it. So
I would definitely say that. And like I said, it was different from your traditional house style. This is the thing that drives me crazy about these editors and these companies is if something's kind of hot, they try to force everyone to do it the same way.
Yep.
You know? And granted, like before that, you had people like John Buscema, who was just a massive talent. His work is just phenomenal throughout.
Right.
And you could tell like the projects that he liked versus the ones he didn't like.
Yep.
And the ones he loved, holy crap, man, that was next level. For me, he's still on that Mount Rushmore. He's the first face. John Buscema is he's a gift to all of us artists.
Heck yeah.
But it's stuff like that. And then Todd comes around after like the Ramita kind of the big Ramita stuff that was going on, because that was like the house style for Spider-Man. Right. Don't break that. We got to do it exactly like that. And when he came in, he did break the mold. And focusing more on the spider aspect rather than the man aspect, and what he brought to the table. Like I said, those extra crazy poses. And for those who are unaware, Todd is multi-jointed as well.
Oh yeah.
So he was getting into those kind of crazy poses and things too, and it's funny. Yeah, one of the first times I heard or saw that, I was like, "Geez, that kind of makes sense now."
He's like, "Hey kid, Ink and Kraken, you gotta like gnarl your hands up and give more dimensions." And
but see, and that's the thing though too. It is thinking more three-dimensionally when it comes to the artwork, because a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's a flat image, and you kind of just it felt flat. But someone like him and other artists later on, like they started bringing more of that kind of three-dimensional feel to it. Like when you're looking at an image,
energy,
the energy, the guy doing like a crazy pose, and then you mix that with like the background elements that maybe that's like on a crazy angle too. Spider-Man's a perfect character for that, because you could go in opposite planes and it'll look even more badass, because you picture it like him, like the force, the momentum he's getting when he's swinging and flipping, and to put that aspect in it. And you're thinking again about, I've said this before, when you're an artist, you are an actor, you're a director, you're lighting, you're all these elements kind of put together. and you have to make sure it's like your shots, like for a movie, are going to be that next level. That's why like everything that I approach, I try to do it cinematically or as close to it as possible. There's certain things you got to kind of go back and use a little bit of like a stable formula, but you can always break that mold. You don't have to stick directly to certain things. But if you want clarity in your work, this is why I tell everyone, like again, in the convention scene and when I was doing more of those tutorial videos, which I might get back to. But yeah, you need to learn the basics before you can start to do the really crazy stuff. And I know like those editors, it was just, no, just learn the basics, stick in the basics. Don't break that. Don't break that. So it's interesting how the comic book industry and the history of it kind of changes.
Yep. Old Todd. The one time I really ever talked with Todd was I was working at a comic shop at the time, and I came to a convention here in Houston, and it was just at the beginning of the Spawn craze. And man, I was so proud because I had a Platinum Spider-Man and I got it signed by him. And that was it. That's all I cared about was getting that Platinum Spider-Man #1 signed. And I waited in line forever. And at the back of the hotel convention, whatever, nobody was out there. I was just sitting down on the curb taking a break. And all I know is he came out and he sat down next to me and we just sat and chatted for about 30 minutes. Like,
oh, that's cool.
It was cool.
Nice. Do you remember any of the conversation?
I do remember he seemed, because I was this excited kid that wanted to be doing what he's doing, you know, and he was kind of disheveled, disgruntled. He was wearing a hockey jersey too, I think, at the time. And he's like, kid, kind of like, you don't know what I know, right? How rough it is. I could feel that off of him, but I didn't quite get all of it. So that's all I do remember about it was he was exhausted. Like he seemed like he was just tired. You know?
Yeah. I don't blame him either, because especially in those years, some of the stories that I've heard, and because they took a massive gamble, and you know, and I've been meaning to get more into this type of stuff too. For the people who are kind of unaware, or just went, oh yeah, those guys just got together and they just kicked ass. It wasn't that simple, and the stuff that happened was built into it. Now, like money wise, it's something he'll never really talk about straight to people. Right. I remember there was like the documentary on him and stuff too, and they go, he lost all of his money and then he had to build up from scratch again. That's all false. That's all false. I was working for him when that stuff was going on. He did not go bankrupt. He had to pay millions to, you know, the lawsuits, the Hardcover, Tony Twist and all that.
Right.
He had some other issues. And there's some of the things that people are unaware of, that he still kind of owed money for the movie. There's something he promised that he didn't fork up. Yeah, that's why the major Hollywood companies won't do business with them on that regard for the films.
Oh, really?
He was a little bit blackballed for this thing that happened. Man. That's why he's going the independent route, and it's been taking years for a sequel or a brand new reboot.
I see.
Yeah. So
interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of things people were unaware of.
I know that part of that too was the Sam and Twitch. He had to stop publishing that too because of that Tony Twist thing.
Oh, because the character was in there.
Yeah, I can't remember why, but he just started Sam and Twitch up again recently.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a bunch of books now. But again, he has the money to do that because the figures made him super rich, you know.
That's good.
Yeah, and around that time too, like he bought the baseballs and whatnot. Yep. So people go, oh, he's retarded for doing what he did. No, he wasn't. He made so much money because he was going to every baseball field around the country, and he was selling those figures. Because at the time he had the rights to do all the Major League Baseball stuff and the other sports things.
Man, if I could talk with Todd right now, I would tell him this. I was like, Todd, when's the last time you gone to an MLB game and gotten a bobblehead like as a giveaway? Because dude, if you could get into the bobblehead market in the
Mhm.
MLB stadiums, you would
Yeah.
crush it. Like,
Well, that's why he stepped it up with those figures, because there were even like exclusive figures that never made it to the stores, and people
Mhm.
were even unaware of them unless you went specifically to
right,
those baseball games, because like how they set it up, it was almost like a mock kind of museum thing. So you look at the balls, you go kind of down this tour, and at the end of it, all the merchandise is basically like on a wall. Because I
right,
knew the guys who drove the vans filled with figures all around the country,
right.
and if you ever have a chance to touch any of those balls, I highly suggest not to. I know what they did to them.
It sounds dirty.
What they told me was dirty.
Yeah.
And Todd was unaware, and and now you see like he's got them like all wrapped up, and they're in like the special cases and
Oh, that's
stuff. And it's
funny.
like, oh man, Todd, if you
That
knew.
that was a great marketing investment, like right there.
It
Like,
was, because he got specific ones for certain reasons, like the ones that were just about to break the record.
but he didn't buy Aaron Judge's ball though or because he set the record.
Oh, okay, I didn't know someone
Aaron
else broke
Judge
it
has
again.
the most home runs now.
But Todd, he doesn't have those figures again. Like I don't think he has the rights to do Major League Baseball again.
Oh, really?
Unless he's getting it. I know he wants to get back into sports. I think I saw a couple of football things recently, but yeah, I don't know, because when time lapses, and um, I wouldn't be surprised if he does get back into it. If he does, it would make sense if he purchases those things.
Yeah, I do know the MLB license is really tough from what I
Yeah,
hear. That and NFL.
yeah.
So,
Well, don't forget he had NASCAR too at one point, and to
oof.
get the rights for all of the promotional stuff, all the sponsorship things that they had to
Right.
get right on. Yeah, there's a lot, but it's another reason too. Like a lot of those figures, like they're worth a lot of money because they didn't make as many. The DC deal that got him to another level. Like he became the number one toy manufacturer in North America because of the DC deal.
He may end up being the publisher of DC Comics before long.
Well, he's got to get Jim Lee out of there first.
Well, yeah, I'm not to bash Jim Lee, but he just feels like he's the mascot, and that's it. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I know everyone had like that big debate. We talked about it on my channel a couple of weeks ago when they dropped his commission prices, and I'm like, this was done just to piss people off and to shit stir, because the guy's a multimillionaire. At one point, he had a giant mansion next to George Clooney in Italy.
oh,
There,
wow.
like, when he sold his company to DC and everything else that they did with him, and the Hush storyline, all that guy, they are massively loaded. So no regular person can get like, oh yeah, I just want a commission from Jim Lee. I have the money. I'm going to fork it up. That's not how that works. His insane prices, it was like 20 to 35,000 or something for a cover. Like the only people that are giving him that type of money is DC, and he's got like exclusive contracts with them. You're not seeing him working for Marvel. He's not doing independent comic book covers. He's not doing shit like that. And the kind of convention sketches you see, they're very limited. He might give you a slot of like, I don't know, maybe I'll do 5 at this show, 5 to 10, just to kind of appease certain fans. But those prices are crazy prices.
My thinking on it was maybe he's on his way out of DC, like his contract is coming due in another year or so.
Because they're screwing up things so badly over there.
Yeah.
So, but again, who do you like Mark Waid, who basically said he doesn't care if comics falls apart because he told his stories and he got his money, so he doesn't care if it burns. Like those are the people that you're putting in these positions of power, or getting to work on these massive titles.
I've only met Mark Waid once, and it was really crazy. I was walking through the DC booth at San Diego Comic-Con after, not DC it was Marvel or something. It was like right after Comic-Con had ended one night.
Yeah.
And it's just a real quick story. And I'm passing Mark Waid, and Mark Waid's writing that Captain America with Ron Carney that was really big.
Okay, yeah.
Big. and he goes, "Hey, have you read Captain America?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" He goes, "It's the greatest thing I've ever written. You got to check it out." Drawn by Ron Garney. I was like, "Man, I love Ron Garney," but I thought, how bizarre that conversation happened. He just starts pitching me right there.
Yeah, that is weird. Oh my
It
god.
was weird. All right. Anyway.
No, dude, I was friendly with Ron Garney for a number of years too. He's a really good guy.
His work on that era to me is my favorite stuff.
Yeah, because he was doing Cap, he did Wolverine, he did Spider-Man.
Yep.
But before the Brand New Day stuff, he told me a story where there was a fight that Spider-Man has with Kingpin, and Spidey. I think he put on the black costume too. Kingpin was in the prison or something, and Spidey went there, and I guess at that point it was already revealed who he was because of the Civil War storyline or whatever. So everyone knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and he went to the prison to beat the shit out of Kingpin and to tell him, like, okay, you threaten me and my family, you could get me anytime. Well, guess what? I could get you anytime. So, like, Spidey literally broke into prison to beat the shit out of Kingpin to teach him a lesson. And that whole story was supposedly written for Michael Straczynski. It was not. That was all Ron Garney.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That would have been so great.
Yep. So,
yeah,
it happened. I mean, the comic book came out, but
okay.
He didn't get his writing credit.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they gave the credit to Michael Straczynski.
I might have to go check that out then, because I don't remember that. I need to look it up.
Yeah, it was good.
He did an issue of The Thing that came out a couple years ago, just a one-shot Thing story.
I heard about it.
It was
I never got a chance to get it.
It was a noir book, and I was blown away. It was like he was almost kind of doing a Frank Miller-ish black and white thing, but in his style, and it was so gorgeous.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Oh, man.
I think I have most of the Berserk books. I didn't get a chance to sit down and read them. Like, I was just kind of getting them, and like I was going to pile them up and then read them in one shot. And then, a lot of personal stuff happened, and big move, and everything got lost. I'm like, oh, great. They're here somewhere, but I need to go sift through
I know
shit.
that I moved into this house about 3 years ago, and I'm still like going, oh yeah, what happened to this? Like, I remember it. Like, I'm missing some Appleseed. I'm missing some Appleseed graphic novel collections. Like,
oh damn, yeah.
I don't even know what happened to them.
Man, yeah, it's it happens, man. It definitely happens. There's a couple of things like I found like out of the blue. I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. I'll take it out and flip through it, or
right.
And it's funny, we talked Jim Lee, and like I have like the X-Men book the number one X-Men book in front of me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I've got a few of those.
Yeah, it's good to go back and take a look at some of this stuff just to kind of like see like where everything was.
I have about 20 copies of Spider-Man #1 McFarlane. Like,
nice.
And I bought them. I bought it not because I was greedy. I was just such a huge fan at the time. I bought 10 of each. And so Todd did a Spawn issue with the Haunt in the cover. And just for the hell of it, I bought 10 copies.
Yeah, Haunt was actually a pretty fun book.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Haunt. I got them right here. You want to see it real quick?
Yeah, it's the character. He's got his basically his dead brother is like his superhero suit.
Yeah, but I'll show you the cover though. Hold on.
Yeah. You go ahead and grab that. I'm going to show people again. Yeah, again, don't forget we got plenty of cool projects out here. So check out Black Phantom. Check out my project as well.
I bought 10 of these things. Actually, there's 11 here.
Holy crap. Yes. In case you wanted to read it more than once?
No, I just did it just for the heck of it. And plus, look at how cheap the cover price is on it.
Oh, like, yeah.
I went, the heck with it. For nostalgia's sake, I'm buying 10 of these.
And what issue was that?
Spawn 327.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
And I like that he named it Torment, just like, or not Torment, but like Torment.
Yeah. The first storyline. which it wasn't bad. I know a lot of people gave him a lot of shit for it. It wasn't that bad.
It was all right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think he's a great writer.
No.
Like, I think
No,
his Spider-Man stuff was better when somebody else was writing it. But
he was never a great writer. He had some okay concepts and some cool things here and there.
it always cracked me up how he tells the story of he would just draw a bunch of pages and then toss them down on the floor and put them in an order that he thought made sense.
Yeah, that sort of thing kind of gives me like an aneurysm, because it's like, no, you need a story that's going to be more cohesive. You can't just be, oh yeah, mix up the pages and it'll just work. You reword things. It's, no, Todd, you're going to break the flow of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, it drives me crazy. But the original Spider-Man book, I have that one signed by Todd, and Stan Lee. He signed Spider-Man in the white of the eyeball.
Oh, nice!
And like the lens, which was really cool. That's one of my favorite pieces of my collection, because it's like, and on top of it, I think it was the third time I met Stan Lee. It was one of the very last times too. It was at C2E2, and he was coming by with his kind of entourage or whatever, and he stopped and he told the guys, it's like, we got to get some artwork from this guy, and he picked out a couple of pieces. So for me, that was the icing on the cake. The guys next to me were like, Stanley's buying artwork from you? I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
Wow.
You know, like it made my day. He bought two pieces.
Really?
One was a DC piece. It was a Joker kind of headshot that I had, a small Batman like in the background, and the other one was a Spider-Gwen, but I sort of did it a little reminiscent of the Spider-Man 300 cover, right? a little bit like that, but I didn't do what everyone else does, because everyone just they redraw it and do the homage. I just was sort of inspired by it. It was more like a back shot, like the way that she was posed anyway, but which was amazing. And then years later, just a couple of years ago, actually, or last year, I think it was, a good friend of mine, Adam, super fan, Adam Shawhan, he ends up finding these things on eBay. After Stan passed away, the guy who was helping him with all of his kind of the books he was picking up and stuff too, from the convention scene, things reverted back to him, and the guy was selling them officially. And my friend messaged me, he goes, "Is this legit?" I'm like, "What?" He says to me, like, "That's the Stan Lee piece. That's the one that he bought from me." And he goes, "Well, this guy's selling them." And he started having a conversation with the guy, and the guy goes, "Oh, Vinny," and he told him the exact day, everything that happened in detail. And I got a message from Stan from beyond the grave, which was incredible. He goes, "This kid Vinny, he's got amazing skills. We have to buy work from him. I want to have some of his work." And he goes, "This is what we're talking about. This is the future of comics." That was the message I got from beyond the grave from Stan, basically. And this dude, like, he goes, "Yeah, make sure Vinny hears this," because I don't know if he heard. I know the conventions get loud and busy, and Stan was more free at that time, which was awesome. And now those two pieces belong to a good friend of mine. So I went from me to Stan to a friend.
Oh, that's really neat. That's a great bit of history there.
Yeah, it was really cool. And every time I stream and whenever Adam's on, he shows like his collection on the wall. He's got him all set up on his wall, like all the original artwork and stuff in the books. Really cool.
I have a couple good Stan Lee moments. One was the first good one was when I was at a convention in Austin. He was a guest, and I was working for a comic shop in Austin, and I had they had this thing set up where everybody got a ticket, and each ticket got you a signature, and there was going to be a cutoff time at the end of the day, and it was like on a Saturday. And I remember it's like all these big guys, Dark Horse guys were there, like Mignola, Gary Gianni, all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was working the table, and I had a ragged out copy of Amazing Spider-Man #1 that I was selling for $100. The cover was like coming off and everything.
Yeah,
Looking back, Yeah, it was Swiss cheese. But looking back, I wish I still had it because that Swiss cheese copy is still worth something.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
So this guy came up to the table and he's like, well, he'd already used his ticket up and he's like, man, I'd really love to get this Amazing Spider-Man. And to cut the deal, to sweeten the deal, I said, listen, I've still got my ticket. If I go get it signed, will you buy this book? And he's like, heck yeah. So I grabbed the copy. I ran immediately over there. And just as I hopped in line, the security guy cut the line off right after me. And I got it.
Oh,
got it
nice.
signed and sold that for $100.
Dude, that's great timing.
Yeah, it was. It was perfect timing. It was like toward the end of the day. The other Stanley story I have is I went. Gosh, it was right at the Marvel boom, the beginning of the Marvel boom. I was still working for that comic shop, but this particular year, I was really working at giving away folios to get inking work and stuff. I don't know why, looking back, why did I focus so much on trying to be an inker? I had no idea. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it because somebody got it in my head that it was like the easier way of getting into comics.
Yeah, you know? There's a lot of strange tips from individuals at conventions and things like that too.
So anyway, I bought my plane ticket, got there. I only had $100 in my pocket for that convention that weekend, and I mean, I was so broke. I even remember this guy. It's not Mark Nelson who drew the Aliens comics. There's another Mark Nelson who's a painter. I was hanging out at a bar with him and Jimmy Palmiotti, and they were buying me beer. And I had no money to like get a cab to go get to where I was staying. And like this guy, Mark Nelson, like flung me $20 for a cab. It was really nice.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, I would remember sitting outside on the steps of Planet Hollywood, and I was just down. Like I wasn't getting anywhere with picking up jobs or whatever. And no joke, I had my Mallrats moment where this voice over my shoulder is like, "Hey kid, how you doing? Like, what's happening? Like, why are you sitting here all by yourself? Like,
yeah,
you should be out having a good time. You know, you're a young, good-looking lad. You know, that kind of thing." And it was Stan Lee, and I told him what was going on and how everything was going, and he gave me a pep talk. He's just like, he's like, just don't give up, kid. You just got to keep at it. Eventually, your ship's gonna come in. And he's like, no worries. Just right now, it's looking bad, but it's gonna be better in the future. He's like, trust me. And sure enough, it eventually happened. But yep, got my pep talk.
Dude, that is awesome. I told you, man, it's stuff like that, and so many people have stories about Stan that are similar, and that's what you need, you know, because those guys, they came from a different era altogether, and that's why, like, that's what I loved about comics. It's the people that came later that they pulled the ladders up behind them. It's this all like agreed thing now when they go to these conventions. Like, I hate to say it too, because like I like Neil Adams stuff, but I've had encounters with him.
Me too.
We were like convention neighbors at some of the shows and stuff too. And don't get me wrong, like again, I still respect the dude and everything, but what he was doing for the convention scene, it's why everything's so dirty right now when it comes to all the pricing and all that stuff, the graded books. Like he added to the problem of that, because he was making sure to tell everyone, like, you got to charge for your signatures no matter what. And he got everyone to do this thing now. If you go to conventions, you'll have, I don't know, let's say maybe you spent a lot of money. Like someone like in your position of back then, all you had is $100 in your pocket, right? You have to get food, you got to get, you know, cab, whatever, all this stuff. And you go into the show and like, oh, I got 1 or 2 books I'd like to get signed. Now, depending on what those books are, if you go to the creators that you want to go to, it's not for free. It's not $5. If it's an older book, they're charging like $50 to $100 because it's an older book.
Right.
Something more modern, it's like $10. And it's like, now it's just, everything is just so
Liefeld didn't help that either. He did it too.
Oh, yeah. he did it right off the bat as soon as Deadpool was getting more popular, because he'd bring a whole bunch of copies of his first appearance, and he tried to charge everyone an arm and a leg for it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's you don't get me started on that one.
Well,
I
Neil Adams. Going back to Neil Adams, I was assistant to Neil Adams' assistant. His name was Arthur Nichols.
Okay.
Arthur Nichols drew like all the Magnus Robot Fighter books and stuff. So I kind of got to know Neil a little bit through that. But I've heard all kinds of stories. So I'm like second generation Neil Adams assistant, if you technically. But I remember sitting at a table and I have a print of a Batman I drew, and Neil came and walked up to my table and he looks at the print and he looks at me, looks at the Batman, looks at me again. He goes like that and then walks off.
Wow. Yeah, so he could be a dick, that's for sure. Oh man, real quick though, we got Daniel in the house too, man. Yeah, awesome seeing you, bro. Hope everything's going well for you. We also got Iceman Modeler in the house. What's up, bro? We got Blue Samurai. How you doing, man? Very cool seeing you.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, no worries that you're a little bit late. It's all good. Like I said, we're just we're showcasing the new projects and talking a little bit of comics and
we're just talking fun stuff. Going back to Arthur Nichols, the guy that drew Magnus Robot Fighter. Yep. He's the guy that discovered Joe Quesada.
I wish he never discovered him.
Well, he was going to get lighting at a hardware store, and Joe Quesada was the guy that sold him his lighting. And Joe and him got to talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to draw comics and stuff like this." And Arthur got him into Valiant and got him started coloring first before he was doing pencil gigs.
So. Yeah, I've got so many stories about that guy and how he single-handedly screwed my career multiple times. By getting in the way, by tracing over my artwork, a whole bunch of shit. Like I've talked about it in the past. So yeah, Quesada is not someone who is on my nice list. I'll tell you that much. And he did some really horrible things to get into the position that he got into. Because there was an editor that kind of put him in the spot for a little bit to take care of personal things, which were pretty massive personal things. And by the time he came back, there was no job for him. So it's a lot of dirty stuff.
I've not ever heard that stuff, but I'm not gonna doubt you either. I mean,
and some of the stuff he did to his old friend Jimmy Palmiotti as well wasn't so nice,
right?
But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's Blue. Oh, sweet! I'm just in time for some Joe Q sales. Not so much, but like he took credit for one of my designs for a statue bust. Like I said, he plagiarized my work. Joe Kubert literally had my samples. I had met him at a comic book not a convention. At a comic shop in Manhattan, Midtown Comics. The one that was right there. Dude,
right there on Times Square.
Yep. I was friends with a few of the people who worked there. Shout out to Rob. He was a good dude. But man. Joe Kubert. I gave him the samples. He's like, "You do amazing work, kid. I want to get you some work." And he gave my samples to Joe Quesada, and Quesada traced over my stuff. I found out when I was at Toy Fair. He was the guest of honor at this Toy Fair event, and he left after our encounter. And the people who were there were like, "What the fuck?" They were flipping out. Where the fuck did he go? Because he asked for a crazy amount of money. He wanted a limousine fully stocked, like he thought he was some kind of rock star, and he only lived a few blocks away. And people were very pissed that night. And
sounds like Al Simmons.
Well, here's the thing. He had his book. What was it? Sins of the Father, the Daredevil, the stupid Daredevil storyline he was doing at the time. And I think it was like the second issue or something. And he had a pile of them that was crumble as he's holding the the portfolio, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought he had to go to the bathroom or something. Because
Oh,
like he's, oh yeah, you could contact so and so, and he kind of like and he threw the portfolio back, and it's funny too because I pointed out the piece. I said, oh yeah, the figure wasn't released yet. The statue was a hobgoblin bust. I said, oh yeah, the three of us worked on this one, and he was like, oh yeah, but he was really shitting a brick because my sample pages were in there too.
oh
And
no.
oh yeah, so he closes the book, whatever, and he grabs his bag and he runs out the like not the main elevator, like the maintenance elevator thing. Like he didn't even go out the front doors. He went out the back somewhere and he just disappeared and everyone was flipping out. So at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, dude, that was crazy. And we were leaving. I'm like, oh, no one even picked up any of these stupid books they were giving away for free. So I grabbed one and I went home. And then when I flipped through it, I saw my work.
What?
Yeah, I was irate. And that's why he was shaking, because had I turned around and grabbed the book right there, I would have turned around and at the time too, I was a lot heavier. I was, working out in a pretty good way. Me and my brother would have probably done something we might have regretted. But yeah. So that's
That
the
is
type of
crazy.
classy individual that Joe Q is.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he was making, in the beginning of the CG movement and everything, he was making bets with a certain individual. They had their personal numbers, and they were making bets on campaigns and trying to
Oh,
make certain
really?
ones tank. Oh yeah, people seem to forget that because it's been so long. But and certain people deleted their live streams at a certain point. But yeah, that was actually said on, I think, like 2 different live streams from one of the bigger channels. So there you go. It shows you how the dirtiness of certain individuals and the drama that they create.
He stopped following me on Twitter last year. Right around the time I was promoting my first book.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Surprised.
Might be something to it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
Is what
stuff.
it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, and that's what I mean. Like, and again, he got fired from Marvel anyway, so it took them a good amount of time before they got rid of him.
Oh, I didn't realize he was fired. I just thought he left and it was time to go.
No, they gave him an option. He was supposed to get shit canned a number of years prior, and he put the blame on someone else who was like another, not editor. What was he? What was his title? I forgot the guy's title. It was Jimenez. I forgot his first name, but he was someone that was kind of like, they were working like the bullpen and everything together, and the guy's name was all over all the projects and stuff too. They put all the blame on that guy instead of Joe Q. Because I remember my first interview that I got at Marvel, John Romita Jr. helped me get it. And when I was there, like, the offices were almost empty. There was just a couple of editors that were there.
Wow.
It goes, a lot of these guys, they barely come in anymore. And that's when Toy Biz was still like partners or slight ownership with Marvel, because they were on the same floor. And and the guy told me, he goes, no one respects Joe here. And the guy told me, he was supposed to get fired a long time ago. And when he came in, he was just doing like a couple of little designs for the Toy Biz side. No one wanted to deal with him in the office. The top editors at the time didn't want to deal with Joe. He was a joke. And he was, because everyone saw what he was doing. He was trying to weasel his way into the movie side of things. And he did for a short time. And then they got sick of him, and they gave him the...
I thought he was really, in deep with the development of the movies.
No, he wanted to be the new Stan Lee, and everyone hated him. Around that time, too, DC put out a statement. They go, we'll never do a crossover with Marvel again until Joe Quesada is fired. So that was everywhere. Wow. That was on Newsarama and, all those comic book sites at the time.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was, again, one of the most hated people in the industry.
Wow, I'm learning so much today.
Yeah, it's crazy. But again, Blue was here. He wanted to hear some tales, so I told him some Joe Q tales. Factual stories. And again, people, they like to erase history or look the other way because they love the characters so much, or they love certain things. And I get that, but at the same time, like, don't overlook some of the people who have destroyed the industry, because Joe Q also brought in all those activists that pretty much did all the damage to our modern comics. He brought in all those, the Milkshake Girls and all them.
Right.
That was all under his little umbrella. And yeah, you could see what they're doing now. There's one of them. She's hopping from company to company, destroying everything.
Yep, like a virus.
Yep.
There's a well, all I gotta say is the whole industry has changed now. Like manga is booming.
Oh yeah, it is.
Webtoon is booming.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable how now the spinner rack is now on your phone now. Like, well, a long time ago, I was all into the webcomic movement, and I was all for, people reading online. And then it kind of dipped out for a while, and now it's back again. Like now we're seeing, like webcomics 2.0, but it's now through gatekeepers, though, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like and manga.
That's happened everywhere, man. And like so I said, indie comics are suffering because of this. Because you have the people that they rather do drama streams and stuff like that than actually get the product done or even get product, delivered. I mean, it's been years since people have seen certain books, and most of the fan base, like they didn't just fraction off, they just walked away completely furious. But read some of the comment sections on their Indiegogo. It's like, you scratch your head going, how are these people still allowed to even be on those platforms if they haven't delivered any of their projects?
So one of the things about webcomics that people were fighting against, but then the webcomic community was you put out your stuff for free, and then when you do print books, people will support you and your product. And now it's kind of like that too with these places. Even with the pirate sites, people will go and read this stuff, and then they'll go buy and support the collections. And it's a really hard thing to get your head around.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard for me too to want to do a digital. Like a lot of people ask me, well, why aren't you doing a digital on your campaign? And one thing I've noticed that I don't think they've noticed is as soon as somebody puts out or finishes a campaign and releases the digital PDFs, they're on the pirate sites that day. You look at everyone like Billy Two Cheese and like all these guys.
Wow.
They're all on the pirate sites the day he sends out the PDF. So it's part of me is like, well, why would I support that through crowdfunding if they're just going to get ripped somehow and then go out to the pirate sites? And
I've said the same thing. I've been against the digital shit for the longest time because of that stuff.
Right. There's that mentality. And now I'm trying to think back more into the webcomic thing because kids read their comics online now. They are reading manga and they are buying the books when they like the manga and the anime. So there's something's clicking in my brain. Then it's like, well, screw it. If my stuff's going to get pirated, I might as well just give it to the pirate sites and start asking the pirate sites, hey, can you support me and give me better position on your sites if I just give you my digital files and help me sell like the physical books? I'm real curious if that would work or not, but
I don't know.
It's kind
You're
of
just
crazy.
gonna give them to the criminals anyway.
Yeah, I might as well give them to the Russians. Like, here, you guys, you're doing this already. Man. Like, how about I just give it to you, and then you kind of help me out, right?
Holy crap! Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, this whole industry, this whole market, what we're doing, it's strange. It's strange at this point, because when I got into it, I thought it was going to be all the independent guys kind of coming together and helping one another. That's what I was doing early on. Like I stopped showcasing a lot of people because of all the nonsense that was happening. Because you'd have people just trying to stab each other in the back, step over one another. They want to get a spotlight over there. They just want to release a crappy, quick book to get a couple of bucks as fast as possible. All the ones who did not fulfill anything. Like I regret back at so many individuals because of that stuff.
I think there's a lot of people in indies that are very supportive of each other, and
Mhm.
they tend to flock together. It's kind of like me
Yeah.
posting this my last couple days. You reached out and asked me to be on your stream, so there you go. We're like there are people that are helpful
Oh
to each
yeah,
other.
yeah. I'm not saying everyone's like that, but yeah, there's good and bad for sure. For sure. Like I have so many individuals, and a lot of them just ghosted me completely, and that's what kind of turns my stomach with this stuff too. Because it's
Yep.
like I thought we were helping each other, and everyone knows I deliver all my books. I don't have any problems with anyone. The ones who
Right.
I do have problems with is because they've gone out of their way to either hurt me or my friends personally, or spread bullshit lies. And I've always been fine with showing the receipts. I've put them on blast. I've had big channels try to collectively go after me and couldn't do shit, and they couldn't even ratio me because everyone took a look at the streams that I did where I called them out, and they're like, "Yeah, there's nothing to argue there. He's right." So like it backfired, so they just ignored me. So
I feel what's worked best for me
mhm,
so far is anytime I have anything come at me,
mhm.
uh, I just let it go and ignore it and not give it any fire.
Oh
Like if
yeah, yeah. No, I've done that too. So like my thing is I don't have back and forths with people. Like if I have something to say, I'll expose them in one shot, and then anyone who
right,
comes after me after that, I just block them basically. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Because like
yep,
bad people, they know what they did that was bad. The good people know that I'm a straight shooter, especially with 7 fulfilled campaigns in a row. Everything's always been on time. I haven't had anything that was massively late. Nothing.
right,
The pirate book, I was maybe a month or two late because I had COVID. Other than
right.
that, I everything else. We all came out on time. Everything was awesome.
So
Um,
far, I'm doing good. I've got 2 books out that fulfilled,
there you
and
go.
this second chance is going to fulfill.
Hell yeah,
I
man.
just I just wanted to make a little bit of extra money off of this campaign, and
Hmm.
it's you're doing a couple favors for me, backing me. Is it's gonna go toward my next book. I want to have it
Yeah.
finished before I campaign it.
Hmm.
I there's a lot of people that have mixed feelings on being finished beforehand. I
Hmm.
understand that crowdfunding should be a platform to help people while they're making it too.
Yep.
But I've seen a lot of people that get that money and
Hmm.
then burn through it and they don't have anything to pay for their printing afterward.
Yep.
I mean, you see it time and time
Hmm.
again. So I told myself, like, I'm the kind of person I don't trust myself. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna make sure I have it finished first.
Yeah.
You know,
Which that's listen, because you're doing it all by yourself as well, correct? Writing it,
right?
drawing it, colors, all that's the
So
letters.
I
Hmm.
don't want to fall and fail
Hmm.
to that as well. I don't want to fall in that
Yeah,
hole. And I want to
I
honor
agree.
everybody that buys or backs
Mhm.
me to make sure they get what
Oh,
they
for sure, man.
committed to me.
Yeah, because I came from the same thing because I backed a lot of books early on, a whole lot of books, and from the stuff that I've seen and how certain people operate, that's why like as good faith to the customer, that's why I make sure my books are complete. I literally
Yep.
like this book I'm pushing. I have a sample copy,
Mhm.
140 pages. This thing is the thickest book I've released. Substantial amount of work right here, and I made sure I remastered. Everything is just amazing, ready to go. The printer's just like, yeah, like what's the order you need on these. So that's basically where we're at. And
I
all the
can.
other projects, like I tacked on onto this campaign a couple of my other books, like if
Mhm.
people, if they haven't gotten them already, or the new people to Kickstarter, or they're seeing me on Kickstarter for the first time, I wanted to give them those options. So like City of Venus, I have a little write-up about it on here, and show people, and like it's an option on one of the tiers. So you could get both of my current art books together, which would be over 200 pages of beautiful artwork. It's like
Wow,
4 pages.
that's a lot.
um yeah, yeah, the volume 3.
How many
That,
boogers we talking for it for those two
how many?
books? How many boogers?
For the 2, it's 85.
Okay.
But again, that one's perfect bound as well. I was running that over on Indiegogo. It might be coming down soon. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet with it. But for this campaign, I want to have the option of these 2 books together. Then the next one up is those two books with a comic book, which is City of Venus. The sequel is my very next campaign that's coming out. I have like a little tease on the back of the book and another piece in here and a couple of sketches too. But I didn't want to go too heavy with the spoilers because on the volume 3, I have some sequentials that are in there to kind of show people like my inking style, because I am putting a ton of detail into that project, and it's going to be a bigger book. This one was closer to 32 front cover to back cover for Venus 1, but 2 is going to be over 50 pages. So, and again, at a crazy high level of detail, like what you see here, and then some, because like what I'm pouring in is a ton. And then I have the option for the pirate book as well. This is a limited cover. The only other way to get this cover is with a sketch tier that's limited over on the other campaign. But if you want this cover, I have it. There's only 50 I'm going to make available on this, but it's going to be the 2 art books, the 2 comic books all over here. And this one is 52 pages. Everyone who has gotten this book, they've been blown away by it. They didn't know what to expect. I had a couple of friends who weren't into pirates, and they read it and were like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" So cool. I'm really thrilled that I could switch people from that thought or that jaded nonsense from like the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not Disney. This is violent. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in here. There is a slight supernatural element, but there's other stuff going on in this story. Mm-hmm. And when I get a chance to start drawing out the issue 2, I'm going to play with some more historical aspects as well. There are pirates from history that are going to be in this book. In issue 1, nice. I have a cameo of 2 pirates from history that they're in here. One of which is going to have a more pivotal role in the story, well, in one of the story elements. But and again, I drew the whole thing, wrote the whole thing, inked it, colored it, the lettering, you name it. So again, this is a massive amount of work. I remember Archie Bear, he saw this image and he was like, "Holy dude, that had to be crazy and fun to ink." I'm like, "Yeah, man, it was a lot of work."
That's awesome.
But the full page is really badass too, because I got some other stuff going on and some framing too with an upper torso of an individual, and there was a bit of a feeding frenzy. So, because that's, I'm putting some other historical, more gory stuff that's in what happened with pirates. So we have like the villain, after they kind of done with one of the ships, they were throwing guys overboard, and basically it was almost like they were chumming with these individuals. So it's like, getting rid of the bodies. But so the rewards on here, like I said, we have the main book, 140 pages for $50. You get the next one up for 85, and again, between the 2 of these, you're looking at 204 pages of artwork. And the 64 page one, I have color illustrations in there. I have some of the covers I've done for a number of people. I also have, like I said, sketches, convention drawings, ink pages, sequentials. There's a ton of different stuff in these things. The main book that I'm pushing right now, it's the majority of it is full color illustrations, but there's a big section that also you get to see like some of my type pencil work and stuff too. So a little bit for everyone. So that's why, like, again, I wanted to make sure, again, brand new on this website, should I get a push from them somehow, I wanted more people to get an option to pick up the other books. The only one I did not add to this campaign was Through the Woods, because it's a hardcover book. It's a much bigger book. This one, I wanted things as simple as possible, since I'm juggling so much stuff right now that they're all going to fit in Gemini mailer and get out the door to folks. So, but if you do want Through the Woods, that's still available on Indiegogo, or if you go to mellaartworld.com, that'll take you there. It's case sensitive, so the M, the A, and the W, they're all capitalized. So if you're looking for that, but and then I have an option for original artwork, and whatever original artwork you buy, you get a copy of the art book with it. So
good.
I got all of the options here in the tiers for people who are looking for some originals. I have some from my personal collection that are up here. That Wolverine, that's one of my favorites. But yeah, again, hand drawn with blue pencil and then inked. I got Deadpool here, all inked up. Destro, I actually put some color on this guy. He's on a sketch cover. I stumbled upon some of my colored pencils. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm in the mood. I want to try something different. And I thought it looked pretty cool. So
It does.
so we got that. Wonder Woman, Superman, Batgirl, Catwoman. Again, so some all different options here. We got some Masters of the Universe stuff. I sold on the previous campaign. I had the Skeletor. He flew pretty damn quickly. This the same day I put him up. He went.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful piece. It's something. It's actually in the third art book. So if people wanted to see that, I think. Yeah, it's in this one. It's in the new one. So I can. Oh, if there's not glare, I'll be able to show it. So yeah, we got the. No, it's damn it. Oh, the chrome key thing that went. But yeah,
I see it.
He's in here. He looks great. But anyway, yeah. So I got a bunch of different pieces, and the one that I put up when the campaign went up is this kick-ass Wolverine, basically facing off against the Hulk. Well, that's what the hand in the foreground is.
Right.
But trying to frame it up, being kind of artsy fartsy and cool with it.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's all about telling that story. He's some trees knocked down. He's all kind of beat up, ripping off his shirt, ready to go wild, and attack him. So yeah, and that's the fun stuff about it. Oh yeah, here's the hack and slash cover. I've talked about it on a number of different streams and campaigns, but there's the hack and slash for Image Comics that I did. And yeah, the billboard was like 12 to 15 feet high.
That's massive.
Yeah. So and there I am next to it. Yeah. That and they were touring it for like a year and a half, 2 years or something. And no one told me. I went to one of the bigger shows. I was walking towards my table. I'm like, what? Wait, that's mine. I ran over. Like, can I get a photo?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, man. So yeah, there's proof I am who I say I am. Got these awesome books for everyone. So if you haven't seen them, if you're looking for some more cool stuff, jump on it. Like I said, all the help that you guys could give is going to be massive because it's going to help me get to the other books even sooner. City of Venus 2, I'm putting a whole bunch of work in it. I hate that it's this delayed so far. But again, I'm not launching it until it's at least 90% of the way there or 100% done. So, because the last one that I ran where I was only like maybe a quarter of the way in or so was Shadow of the Kraken. And I was feeling guilty that I was even like a month or two late. And I was only about a month or two late. And I felt so horrible that I'm like, no, I don't like that I'm sitting on these people's money like that. I want to make sure they get their book as fast as possible. So, like I said, as long as I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to try to get these things done first and then launched. Because I know a lot of faith people had in indie comics is kind of out the window because of current horrible, nasty individuals. So, but like I said. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I got my campaign started and fulfilled in 4 months last year.
Dude, that's awesome. That's the way
proud
to do it. That is the way to do it, man. And yeah, same deal. As soon as I launched the volume 3 art book, I was maybe a month people waited. And then everything started going out the door. And like I said, I did not get much of a spotlight or anything. And that's where I was seeing Indiegogo was also hurting in a massive way. So that's why I'm over on Kickstarter to give this a shot. If this doesn't do so well or we can't fund, I might do a small option or run a tiny campaign on Indiegogo. I don't know. Don't quote me on it because, like I said, there's a ton of other things I need to get done. But if you want it, this is the best way of getting it. And if you haven't got my other books, like I said, you got some good options on how to get your hands on some of this other really cool stuff. But like I said, my books have all had nothing but high praise, which I thank everyone so much for. So yeah, like I said, if you guys could support it, awesome. If you can't, at least grab the links, get them out there. Same with Chad's project, which I'll showcase here again. Because yeah, he's closing up. in 51 hours. So
51 hours, and then yeah.
So yeah, give them some love. The link is in the description. People have been dropping it as well, so that'd be awesome. I'm gonna try to do some more spotlighting here and there, but again, with people that I've been cool with or are cool with me. I still I want to stay away from the snakes and the horrible people and the liars. For me, it's about the work. I love comics. I love creating them. I love reading them. Look at these beautiful books. Amazing stuff. You know?
I got a case of them right here that I could show if you want. That these are going out,
dude. That's what I'm saying.
Campaign ends, so
yeah,
get that. This.
Yeah, man. The standee, that's beautiful. Yeah, I got a standee on the pirate campaign as well. One of my characters. Yeah, I have Anne from the book. Let me see. I pull them up real quick.
Tiny. My next book, I'm gonna have a glow in the dark cover, I think.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
It is.
Man, yeah. I have to, pick your ear or your brain about this stuff a little bit too.
Uh-huh.
I try to keep things simple, but some of these like special covers look really damn good.
This was not. I really wanted this for this cover. Like I did some hard research to figure out how to get it, and it wasn't as costly as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, no shit. Was it printed here or overseas?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah, tell me later. No inside baseball on that. But yeah, like I said, man, we got a lot of cool stuff. Support Chad. He's a good creator, a great dude. Yeah, man, some really good stuff. Oh, Nelson, I see you in the chat. How you doing, buddy?
I will tell you this. I got them printed at the same place that Iconic Comics gets their books done. So
say that one more time.
Iconic Comics, the Common America guys. I get my books from their same printer.
Okay. So, very cool.
Yep.
Nice, man. Yeah, these things look great. And again, he has them printed. They're ready to go. So
yep.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
The support for this is going to be money to help me. Well, first off, I've got Matthew Weldon doing a cover, or he has already done a cover that I want to do for a second printing of these books. And I want to use that money to like pay for a colorist, possibly a colorist. So we'll see what happens.
That'd be cool, man. Yep. Yeah, Matthew, he's a good dude, man. A fantastic artist.
Yep.
Yeah, man. He's a good dude, man. Yeah, he's been some of my stuff too.
He and I have tabled together a few times over the years. So.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I'm going to be hitting some more conventions again this year. Yeah, if you ever come down to the Florida ones, let me know.
I will.
Yeah,
I was considering going to Tampa this year, but right now I just didn't have the scratch for it at the moment. So
yeah, I got a buddy who's going. I was debating about tagging along, but yeah, there's a lot going on here too. So
yeah,
if I'm not able to actually showcase and make some sales, it's gonna be kind of pointless for me.
Yeah, but I was wanting to go too because Fraga's gonna be there. So
oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh man. See, yeah, I like to meet him too. He's a good dude. I hope he gets his project done soon because it's the one thing I'm kind of been bummed out about. And I know he's all out on his plate, but
he does. He's directing a movie, so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't talk about it.
Oh wow. Okay, you didn't hear that here, folks.
But yeah, that's why he's been kind of busy.
Gotcha.
He got.
I didn't know he had that surgery recently too. So
yep.
I'm glad that worked out. You know,
whoa, look at that standee. That's beautiful.
Yeah, this one was killer.
So. Next time I want to do that to my base. I want to have the logo on it.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be really killer. I wanted to do one for this campaign, but I figured again because I'm brand new to Kickstarter, I'll wait for City of Venus too, and to actually do another one because I want to start doing more of my characters from all the books, so you kind of get them lined up like that too. Which would be awesome. But yeah, man, good stuff. Yeah, I got my standees from a place in the UK.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Did you get yours similar, or was yours in the States?
Mine were out of Korea.
Oh, out of Korea. Okay. Yeah, we gotta check out prices. But what was better?
Definitely. I mean, Rini recommended hers out of Thailand, so I might try that. Yes, I have a. Ah, you're so Catholic. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Matthew, he's a religious dude, but he's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, Matt's a Mormon though. So I'm
Oh, he's a
curious.
Mormon? Okay.
Yeah,
Didn't
but
he?
he,
I thought
huh?
he did didn't he do like a Jesus Christ story or something? Or
Maybe. I don't
he
know.
might have. I don't know. I saw something in passing, but
But Matt,
either way, it's fun.
Matt, without even asking me,
Mhm.
just out of the blue, did a wraparound cover with all my characters on it. So now
Oh, nice.
I'm obligated to like get a second printing done. But I think what I might do is do a special edition like with
Mhm.
both books
Yeah,
because it includes both sets of characters, and I might just do the Matt Weldon 64 pager.
dude. Yeah, man, that would be killer. Man, I could have sworn Matthew and I thought we were both going to both hit. Todd ran a contest, and I knew kind of what it was about. So I wasn't that surprised when that happened.
McFarlane.
Yeah, he had like a cover contest
Oh, right.
that went to shits. An AI guy won. I think there was like two people that used AI artwork, possibly three. But Todd, again, he wasn't picking these things. This was his own people, and then they gave him like a short list, and he
I
went,
think
"Oh, that one, and this one," and walked away.
I think it is his son probably. I was I was involved with them when the whole NFT thing started blowing up. They were gonna do their own NFT market, and I was doing some artwork to make NFTs for
Okay.
that, and that all just went all at
What,
one
for
time.
for Todd?
Yeah, Todd was doing
Okay.
it with Steve Aoki, that DJ. They were
Oh
opening
yeah.
their own. They were opening their own digital NFT market,
Mhm.
and uh, Todd's son was running it.
Okay.
And I remember that's when Todd saw my work and was like, "You gotta go far, kid."
Nice. Yeah, that wasn't too far. That was what, just a couple of years ago, right?
Yep. But
So you can go for it.
that all kind of fell through. So
Yeah.
oh well. I'm glad I didn't get involved in NFTs.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Well,
it imploded.
yeah, I remember when that was happening. A good friend of mine who passed recently, well, like last year, um, Jose Delbo, man, that guy was incredible. What a great individual. I used to hang out with him all the time and his family at the conventions.
Mm-hmm.
He was always trying, like, he grabbed me by the hand and he was throwing me at editors and he was like, "How come you haven't hired Vinny yet?" Like, he was pissed at them. He had like some of his own students, like Amanda Connor, was like, "You need to get Vinny work. How come you haven't gotten him work yet?" Like, he was like yelling at them practically. It
It's
was
sweet.
hilarious, but he had he made a lot of money with the NFT thing, but it wasn't what people thought it was. He sold original artwork, a Wonder Woman original artwork, that the person who bought it turned it into an NFT thing, and it was like something else. It wasn't the NFT that made all that money. It was the original artwork that was sold that they ended up using for it, a Wonder Woman piece. But and there was like a big story about it. But yeah, his family let me know that it's kind of, it was shady what was going on with that stuff from the
A
start.
friend of mine got in on the ground floor right at the beginning of it.
Mhm.
He's a photographer, and he made several million off of it right off the bat, like early on. It was crazy.
Wow. Yeah, man. I don't know. Some people get lucky with some of this stuff. Yeah. I wish I had.
All I'm saying is I'm not an AI fan, but maybe that's just my old man thinking, because
Well, it's dirty is what it is. I
it is
mean,
dirty.
it's
But
stealing people's artwork and it's mashing them
you're
up
right.
into these other images.
But that's why I'm saying my old man thinking goes back to that and Webtoon, because kids are reading their book stuff on Webtoon, and I'm not sending my work there. I'm still catering. I'm not knocking crowdfunding, guys, because you are all my age and my generation. So I'm I'm still catering to our generation, but I'm not focusing on the kids. So when I look at AI, my old man hat is on, going, I don't understand it. But you know, somebody's going to do something with it if they jump in early on and do well somehow. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but before the AI stuff, because I mean, it's being hated across the board, and a lot of people like. I think the tide's already turning a bit with it. Although the industries are still, they're gun ho for it because they don't have to pay artists. So I know they're using it in film and video games and stuff like that, doing the concept artwork by someone just typing these things up, and like I said, it's stealing everything. But
I can tell you right now, like, so my life has really changed a lot since COVID, and I will say, the writer strike that happened last year, early on in the year, killed the entertainment industry to the point like I have not had a job in animation in a year and a half now. So, and there's people I know, there's guys I know that have worked in animation so long that I thought they would never ever be out of work. Like some of the top people, and those dudes have been out just as long as I have. And a producer friend of mine who's at Nickelodeon, I talked with him a week ago. He goes, dude, I have never seen anything this bad in 25 years. Like not even a third of the people have gone back to work since that strike.
Yep. I have a friend who she recently worked on a multi-million-dollar major property that was I could say it. Yeah, she's been on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the last movie that they did. She worked on that, and and now she's without a job.
Yep.
You know, like the work she's getting isn't in that field that she's been working in. So it's horrible, man.
It is. I thought, oh well, it's just not work coming out of California. It's there's got to be people in Georgia, in film and TV that are working because they're not unionized. And hell no, like the whole film industry in Georgia is suffering right now too because all that work is now getting sent out overseas.
Yep. It's the AI shit. There's a lot of bad stuff. And then it is, I'm sorry, the political shit that they put into all these movies and stuff.
Yeah. I just think the writer's strike though hurt the industry because they made all these demands that to get fulfilled and it got agreed upon. And then the Hollywood studios are really just banks. They are banks in a way. They're like, it's like Chase Manhattan Bank. They got the money and they're investing it so they're looking at the numbers going, well, we owe all this shit now to the people in the industry. Well, screw it. We're just going to go send it out elsewhere where we don't have to pay the dues in that. Because I worked for many years in animation, non-union. I had to, when I worked on one particular Disney show, they insisted I had to be union. So I joined the union, which was the first time I'd ever joined it because they never allow people to be in the union unless you lived in that zip code. Okay. And the only reason is because the money you're putting into it goes toward their doctors and stuff in that area. So I couldn't like fly out there and use their dentists or their doctors on their insurance.
Yeah.
Somehow miraculously though, Warner Brothers has allowed me to be on their insurance for like over 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
And I pay out to them through them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had to join it and I'm like sinking money into the union that I'm getting zero benefit out of. It's not helping me keep a job. I'm not getting insurance benefits. And they go, oh, well, but it goes towards your pension and your 401k. I'm like, well, that's great, but I haven't been able to put money toward it in the entire time I've been in that industry because you wouldn't allow me to join when I tried to join early on. So,
Shit.
Anyway, so
yeah, it's
the unions hurt themselves, I think.
yeah. Everything's been hurting in a big way, and like I said, it's by design. This wasn't just like a, oops, this happened, or there's other stuff at play here.
So now I find myself like I'm not too terribly bad off. I'm not hurting, but I do need work and stuff. So now
Yeah.
I'm actually gone, and I started looking at jobs in Korea and Japan in the animation industry, contract work, to see if I could just do what I do now, but for them over there. I did spend like 3 years working in anime in Korea in the early 2000s. So,
oh shit.
Yeah.
And how is that? Like, language barriers and whatnot, or?
Dude, I had no problem. They were so eager to speak English with me that I never had, like, I tried to get in and learn Korean, but too many people want to speak English,
That's hilarious.
It is hilarious. They're like so happy to be talking with an American. It's like, I won't forget though, when my first times there, I actually got lost, and this Korean lady she was an older lady. She knew I was lost, and I couldn't explain to her how, but she got it. We couldn't communicate. That lady, I told her where I needed to go. She grabbed my hand and she took me there. Like, she just grabbed me by the hand and walked me through the subways and everything and got me where I needed to go. And I was so grateful to her. I was so lost.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Chris Vesey goes, yeah, Japan treats their animators like crap. Oh, man.
Dude, that blew my mind, too. So I'd spent time in back. The company I worked for was also here in Houston. So I spent time back and forth. And one thing they have set up there in the studios in Korea is they have these special desks. And the way their desks are built, there's a bunk in the back of the desk that folds right out. And a curtain that comes across the bottom of the desk, and it becomes like a private little cubicle so they could sleep and not go home at night. And I remember toward the end of me leaving one time, the owner of the animation studio, he's like, dude, I've never seen an American draw mech and tech as good as you. I was like a novelty, I was like the white guy that could draw this stuff.
Dude, that's killer.
He's like, I would love to have you stay here. And I was like, no, I'm just now engaged, to be married. And I'm like, nah, I didn't want to do it. Like,
oh man, was he throwing extra at you?
Yeah, he was trying to keep me. It was the same studio known for doing Aeon Flux. That was their first.
Oh wow,
big deal. Yep.
Holy crap, dude, that's amazing.
Yep.
See, like I said, man, we got talented people here. Back his book, man. He's only got like 50 hours or so left. Jump on it, man. Chad, thank you so much, man. I think we should start wrapping it up. But
thanks for telling tales with me.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know if everyone listening, if you want to hear more of this type of stuff again, yeah, just let me know, because I want to start showcasing things again in a better way. I might be doing some art classes again here and there. I'll see about it. Like I said, there's a lot on my plate. But if I do, I'll probably end up uploading it to both my YouTube channels.
I hope we weren't boring.
No, they would have left if we were boring. They were good. What's up, Spike 220? How you doing, man? Great stream. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, buddy. But yeah, like I said, we have the links out there. Jump on them. Support, the indie creators. Is we're doing what we could over here. We know it's tough right now. Most of us are in a very kind of tough situation, myself included. Trust me, there's other things I wanted to back and do, and I can't right now. But yeah, man, we're all chipping away. If you guys could support both Chad's campaign and my own, that'd be awesome. If not, at least take the links, put them on social media.
Heck yeah.
Tell some of your favorite people that you watch on YouTube, if they showcase any kind of creators, get the word back out, because there are people who have finished product that's ready to get in your hands. We just need the funding for it. So, Chad, thanks so much. Everyone
you.
out there. Chris Fisk, Blue Samurai. We had Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective, Iceman Modeler. And Blue, yeah, we got to hang out again soon, buddy. I hope everything's going well. Send good thoughts your way. Nelson the Gentleman, always a fantastic individual. Great tattoo artist. Go check him out. He's over on Facebook. Good dude. Let me scroll up here. We had Slavic One was in as well. Yeah, again, I don't dive into any of the drama stuff. Sorry, just saw your comment. Let me see. Blue. I'm sorry. Pale Rider. Pale Rider was dropping links tonight too. There's Chad's. Go click it.
Thank you.
Like, they're in the description as well. So if you are watching this on the replay, just click onto those. Let me see. Daniel. Always awesome seeing you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Genuine Comics. Lion Ratton. Yeah, and anyone else, if I missed you guys, my apology. Oh, we had a Draven was in earlier as well. Past Master Dan was also giving a big shout out and saying hi to everyone. Tina Bojan. I think I got everyone now. Pretty sure I got everyone. If not, again, my apologies. But I will be in about 2 hours. I'll be hanging out with Loki, Stone Loki. Go check him out. Awesome guy. Yeah, as soon as I see the links and stuff, I'll start putting that on Twitter. But yeah, it'll be a good time. And tomorrow we should be back. I think around 5. We might get a little spicy with some of those topics, but not as much because again, Friday we usually do the underground stream and we do a portion of it on Rumble where we talk about politics. But I'm trying to ease away from that. I know the world's going crazy. Everything that happened again with Trump, what's going on with the whole election stuff and the puppets that they're putting in there and the gaslighting they're doing to individuals. It's kind of important to cover some stuff, but some things I know is too much for folks. So, but on that regard, everyone, thank you. Have an awesome night. Let's see what I can go out on because I am on.
Have a great evening. Watch a great movie or a comic tonight.
Yes, do that.
Do something fun for yourself.
Absolutely, man. Let's see what I have here. We'll go out, I guess, on. Here's Liv Morgan because we need something easy on the odds. So have a great night, folks.
Let's do that.
Oh, I feel so good. I just got to give this thing that good old spin on this thing, and we're good.